Hello everybody, thank you once again for joining me. In this here video we will be talking about mono, white, aggro, kind of a budget version. My name is Justice, my handle is Sarcantuna. Let's take a quick look at the deck tech. I want to first of all clarify that I am not quite sold on History of Benalia anymore. I will be playing with decks like this one, and do more deck techs and stuff, so be sure to subscribe, make sure you catch all of those. History of Benalia is an enchantment. The first two ticks of the saga summon a 2/2 White Knight creature token with Vigilance, right? And then the third tick of it, so 2 turns after you cast it, knights you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. This does not seem to be as strong as it used to be, and I think it has something to do with the massive amounts of creature removal that we have right now, but I'm going to be playing with this. So, onto the deck tech. 4 Dauntless Bodyguards, 1 casting, 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, choose another creature you control. Then you have the option to sacrifice Dauntless Bodyguard, and then the chosen creature gets indestructible until end of turn. This is pretty useful to protect your bigger creatures that you want to live. It's also a 2/1 for 1. 4 Healer's Hawks. It's a 1/1 for 1 with flying and lifelink. I think it's super great. 4 Hunted Witnesses. It's a 1/1 for 1, and when it dies, it creates a 1/1 soldier creature token with lifelink. I also think this is pretty strong on turn 1. I've only got 1 Legion's Landing. I'm okay with that. You want it in your opening hand, or even late game. It's kind of cool because you want to transform it to the Adanto, the first 4 legendary land. A lot of the mono white aggro decks are running 4 of these, but this is more of a budget version, so I only have 1, and I'm not going to make them just yet because I don't know that. I think mono white's going to have a place. I know it was strong in the last Grand Prix. I think it'll be strong again because of Unbreakable Formation. It's actually pretty good. I didn't think it was as good as it is, but I like it. When the enchantment comes into play, you summon a 1/1 vampire creature token with lifelink. To flip it, you just attack with 3 creatures and it flips. And it's not optional. It must flip. I've got 2 Adanto Vanguards, which I might make 2 more of these. They're pretty strong, but it's a toss-up for me between Adanto Vanguard, which is 2 casting 1/1, and Knight of Grace, which ends up being a 2 casting 2/2s. But the Adanto Vanguard gets +2/+0 when it attacks. So it attacks as a 3/1, and you can pay 4 life and it gains indestructible. So you could make it indestructible to survive a mass board clear like Kaya's Wrath or Ritual of Soot or Cleansing Nova. It'll survive all of those if you pay the 4 life. Knight of Grace is a hex-proof from black, first strike 2/2 that attacks, or that becomes a 3/2 if anybody has a black permanent in play. I'm on the fence with these two. The power ratios between the two. I think Adanto is slightly better, but situationally Knight of Grace tends to be a little more valuable because you do end up facing a lot of black creatures right now. A lot of black and white decks. Orzhov is on the table again, so I'm playing Knight of Grace. Just what I'm doing. 4 Benalish Marshals. You would have to make all 4 of these with wild cards. You don't get any of these as a default part of the collection. But it's a 3 white, 3/3, and all their creatures you control get +1/+1, very strong, like kind of a mini anthem. They don't stick, and if he dies, then obviously the +1/+1 goes away. And then, like I said, 4 Histories of Benalia. And this deck is really loaded up in the 3 mana space, so it kind of slows down a little bit at turn 3. But it's pretty fun to play. 2 Resplendent Angels, because I only have 2. You do get 1 as part of the collection, so you don't have to make one of these in Mythic with a Mythic wild card, but it's a 3/3 for 3, 2 white in any color, flying, and at the beginning of each end step, if you gained 5 or more life, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. Super dope. It's pumpable for 6 mana. Until the end of the turn, Resplendent Angel gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. Really ends up being a powerful card. I'd like to have 4 of them, but I only have 2. I'm running 3 Unbreakable Formations. So creatures you control gain indestructible till end of turn. I would use this as a survival spell against Destroy Clear. So Cry of the Carnarium won't do it because they'll get the counters and they'll still die. But against Kaya's Wrath, Ritual of Soot, Cleansing Nova, they'll survive, the big 3. Or otherwise destroying your creatures. So if you have a bunch of 1/1s, and opponent plays a Chain Whirler, you can drop an Unbreakable Formation, and then they'll survive the Chain Whirler, and then that might put you over the edge, who knows. 1 Ajani. I happen to have 1. I like the Adversary of Tyrants. He's super strong because virtually every creature in here costs 2 or less, so you can return all the little wieners back. Or if you have Ajani out on turn 4, and you play a Lyra, And then you can bring back a Dauntless Bodyguard. Dauntless Bodyguard protects Lyra, and it's all for 5 mana. So that works out pretty good. So, Forecasting Planeswalker. This is the perfect place where you want him. 4 loyalty as a default. His +1 loyalty ability puts a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. So you can't split it up. You can target 1 creature if you want to and just put a 1/1 on that creature, but you can't put 2 on 1 creature. His -2 returns a target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, not your hand. Super powerful. And his ultimate, which is not a game winner, you get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step, create a 3/1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. Not a game winner. It's actually not great. I'll pop it every once in a while, but it's not a game winner. I'm running 3 Conclave Tribunals. You do want 1 or 2 of these to swoop in and win the game, but if the game goes on and on and on, it gets harder and harder to win against certain deck types, particularly control. You really have to get up under control with these decks to win, because there's not a lot of punch at the end. Where, like, I think the only thing that'll survive a control deck late is a Carnage Tyrant. We don't have that option. Conclave Tribunal is a forecasting, but it convokes, so you could tap your creatures to tap it or to play it. When it enters the battlefield, you exile a target non-land permanent. So any permanent is on the table, you can exile it. That's where this power comes in. So if they have an enchantment that bugs you, a Planeswalker, it's gone. 1 Shalai, Voice of Plenty. I do have 2, but you get 1 as a part of the collection, so you don't have to make this one. It's a legendary angel for 4. It's flying. You, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof. That's the game winner right there. So they can't target you. You play Shalai, and then they cannot settle the wreckage, because settle the wreckage must target the player. So with Shalai, it's your protection against that. And then for 4 and 2 green, which we don't have any green in this deck, you can put a +1/+1 counter on each creature. That's powerful. That's a super powerful, like Selesnya spell ability, but not in this deck. We just want to use her to give everybody hexproof. Mainly me. I don't want to get settled. And 1 Lyra Dawnbringer. Lyra's a game winner. I love Lyra. For 5, the only trick is that she just costs 5, so sometimes it gets hard to get out. Only running 22 planes in this deck, so sometimes you're sitting there with 4, and then you're waiting for the 5th mana. That's where Legion's Landing would come in, because it does tap for a plains or for a white mana source, or maybe more than 1 Lyra, maybe 24 lands. I'm not convinced. I like this the way it is. It's kind of budget. Like I said, I do have the 4 mythics and History Banale, but I don't know if you'll see it play out. I'm not super excited about History like I am Lyra, like I am with Johnny. Unbreakable Formation has shown to be really strong, actually a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be. But with Lyra and Resplendent Angel, there's a ton of synergy. Resplendent Angel is great on her own, where you could pump it up, but then she becomes a 3/3, or she is a 3/3. With Lyra, she's a 4/4 with lifelink. Lyra also lifelinks. So together, these two, Resplendent Angel and Lyra, work together to trigger that ability from Lyra, and then you get all these other angels. It's like a snowball effect, and that ends the game. Nobody can survive that, unless it's super late in the game, but odds are you're going to win if that's the case. And then 22 planes. So let's see how this deck plays out. The addition from Ravnica Allegiance is Unbreakable Formation, right? The addition from Guilds of Ravnica is Conclave Tribunal, and a few of the commons too. Healer's Hawk, Hunted Witness. It's a pretty good mix of cards. I think with a few more legions, and maybe it's legions instead of history, so that would really beef up the 1 space. Or maybe there are some things in the 2 mana space for white that I'm missing, that I'm not seeing, but I don't know. Nothing seems to be too strong or too quick. Maybe bounty agents. I don't know. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to play this I'm going to try and get in 4 games. I did have a long game earlier today against mono red aggro of all things, and it was like neck and neck, and it was a good mono red deck, but I ended up winning by Conclave Tribunal on my opponent's Rekindling Phoenix. And that ended up being enough for me to sneak in with Lyra. The lifelink is hard to overcome life gain from mono red. And this has some life gain, and it should be able to pack a nice punch against mono blue tempo. Mono green Stompy might give me some problems. My opponent goes first. I'm okay with that. I love this starting hand, except 2 planes might be a little risky. Even if I draw things other than... Oh, this will be a good test. This guy's going to be running... he'll be running a lot of the like Snubhorn Sentries and crap, which is a 0-3, and then it gets +3/+0. A Martyr of Dusk. Okay, this is weird. Yeah, I'm blocking. And then we're just going to start dropping the first strike. So see, now, even against mono white, you can see first strike is going to be pretty powerful. But does it fly? It doesn't even fly. Hexproof from black. He's got cast downs. He's got Vraska's contempts. Doesn't matter. And it's going to attack as a 3/2. He can gang block all he wants. I don't care. So I've got my other 2 Knights of Grace. This is going to be pretty strong. I don't think he's going to block. Sometimes they surprise me, but most of the time they'll just take the damage. And now we'll see if history can help me out. So see, this always happens, right? The second I turn the camera on, the cards that I'm on the fence about are going to swoop in for the game winner. Although he could... What, Mortify? So history could die to Mortify. I guess that happens. So he does running Conclave Tribunals. That's unfortunate. It's only one of them. And I can do nothing about that either. I don't have any plan for anti-enchantments in this deck. Although the moment I get another mana, we are going to Unbreakable Formation. And then we'll be swinging home with some big creatures. So these will be 2/2s, if I can pull this off. That's one of the risks of keeping a 2-mana hand with this deck. Sometimes they're tempted to keep a 1-mana hand, but that doesn't work out so well. Great, and they're all going to have lifelink. At least it's not 1 for 1. No, I'm not blocking yet. I'm not ready to do that. Boy. Yeah, that's the right move. He doesn't gain the life because first strike. Right? So he doesn't have any life linkers out now, which makes me kind of happy. He's not going to want to do a mass board wipe. This is unfortunate right here. I'm not going to block. There we go. So we'll drop history first. And we'll attack with our Healer's Hawks. And I'll save my Knight of Grace to use as a blocker. And hopefully keep him from gaining that life. It's 1, but it might make a difference here pretty quick. If I draw a land, I play a Johnny, and I start pumping up my flyers. Oh, not this guy. So now all he has to do is attack with vampires and I lose life, and there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, this is fine. I mean, not fine, but... Block the Martyr. Block the tokens. If he plays... Pride of Conquerors, we could be in trouble. Okay, I think we're in business. Let's try an Unbreakable Formation on our main phase. We'll save our guys for blockers. Well, no, we'll attack with Vigilance for sure. And we're going to need to gain life. All he would have to do at this point is attack with 6 vampires and we lose thanks to Sanctum Seeker. having only 2 land for a few turns kind of messed us up a little bit. Like I said, it stalls out on turn 3, and I think if, well, that's not going to work out for me very well, is it? Except they gain indestructible because of Unbreakable Formation, so it ends up being pretty strong. 5, 6. I'm going to lose 6 right away. Even just in theory, he attacks with all of his 1/1s. There's no way he attacks with Sanctum Seeker. It's a nice target. I kill it. He doesn't attack with Mavrin Fane, because then he loses that ability. He calls to the feast. All right, that's what he does. Of course. This is a strong deck, though, right now, especially if you include Mortify in here. It gets pretty frisky. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna definitely block this down. He's gonna pull this back. Maybe he's not. 6, 5, 4. Oh, how terrific. Alright, so I've got to do some serious blocking. So first strike wins here. Maybe. He might have... This might be a Pride of Conquerors that we're facing. And we're really in trouble. And then we're going to have to just block down, and block down. We'll take 2 more. Okay, we're only going to take 2 out of this, which is okay. We're going to go back up to 8. Okay. Alright, I can work with that. Well, that was a misplay. He didn't have to do that. He had me on the ropes a little bit there. I feel like if he just would have kept playing with that strategy, he might have done pretty well. But like I said, this deck sort of fits into that almost like a mono white tempo style, where it's not quite uber aggro, it's not quite slow enough to call like a mid-range deck, but it works pretty good. It works pretty good. Well, the cats are coming. This is humane, trust me. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Alright, let's see what we got here. I'd like to play this against maybe like a mono red aggro deck, show you guys what we're doing there. Okay, cool. Yep, got it. Here's a good question. Which one do you play first? I like Hunted Witness first, because just in case they're playing some sort of heavy-duty removal deck, I have the protection against removal built into Hunted Witness. Always go... I love Knight of Grace on turn 2. It's my favorite turn 2 play. It gives me a first striker, so if he plays... He's not playing aggro, I don't think. This looks like... It's Mill. It's Mill. But I mean, it's Mill, whatever. It is what it is. So we'll try and, you know, rush to the finish line here. I can Tribunal something. So I've got 3 mana, plus somebody I could tap, so I'll play my Healer's Hawk, tap a Hunted Witness, tap a 1, 2, 3, 4, tap the rest of my mana, and then Tribunal. Maybe not, maybe I won't have to worry about it. I'm okay with that. And then Opt. So he casts a spell, there goes 4 cards. But that's 8 damage coming his way. Boy, if I could draw into a Unbreakable Formation, that would be stellar. How funny. I'm like, history's not that good. I don't know, this is fun. Now it's like the best thing ever. Sleep would suck. I don't think he's playing Sleep. This was fast. This is fast. Okay, well, I mean, that worked. And then you do get kind of stuck on turn 3. This is sort of an ideal turn 3 to be stuck on, though. I've got history ticking down, so he's got to resolve that. He's got to put my dudes to sleep. And then if I draw into some white mana, I can drop Lyra. Also, if I had Shalai out, he wouldn't be able to target me with Drown Secrets. Well, let's just see what happens. With 2 mana, can he do anything about this? No, it's just a fast... This was fast. Turn 4. Turn 5? That's turn 5. Pretty good. And it's pretty budget friendly. It's 2 games. I'd like to try and get in 4 games just to show if I can win, you know, like 50. Hopefully it wins 6 out of 10 games. 7 out of 10 would be a record. I don't think any deck wins 7 out of 10 games, but we're on the draw here. This is a pretty good hand. Hello, buddy. Oh, good. Aggro. Uh-oh, it's a Fanatical Firebrand, so he attacks for 1, and he's got the ability to kill a 1/1. So check this out. We're going to play a Hunted Witness. So now if I can block and kill him, or he can do the 1 damage, and then I still have the 1/1 with lifelink. This will be interesting to see if he's got a Spear Spewer. I don't like Spear Spewer. I think it's worthless. Cool. This is really gonna... He's either gonna have to waste his burn on my Healer's Hawks, or no reason at all to attack. I'm gonna save him to use as a blocker for a creature with haste. So if this is a Chain Whirler, I'm a little upset. If this is a Lightning Strike, I'm happy with that. See, he's got that's 3 damage I didn't take, so I don't mind. Go ahead and Lightning Strike my my Healer's Hawk. That's okay. And now we'll do the history, and that will cause a concession. My Hunted Witness is serving as a blocker at this point until I can get an Anthem out there and make him a 2/2. Any life gain is hard to overcome, especially for mono white. So now I can do, I'll like Dauntless my Healer's Hawk, Dauntless my little token, play a Hunted Witness, and then even if he drops a Chain Whirler, well, so I won't Dauntless my Healer's Hawk. Now that's 6 damage I didn't have to take. So he used 2 Lightning Strikes on my little Healer's Hawks just because they're too scary and they're too lifelinky, right? Alright, so I'm going to do a Hunted Witness, and I'm going to do 2 Dauntless Bodyguards on my Knight tokens, because I want my Knight tokens to live, so that way when my History of Benalia ticks off. Now here's a little trick. So I've got to pick... Oh, I can't tell. That gets... Okay, that's not going to work then. I wish it told me which ones... I don't know why. Maybe I've got to restart the game. Normally it has a pink arrow and tells you which one it's protecting. Yeah. Well, should do it. But see how it's got the pink arrow? It tells me who's protecting who. Let's get our attack on. We're coming at you. With 1, 1, 2, 2. Here's the other thing about Dauntless Bodyguards, and why I like them with History of Benalia. There's a ton of synergy. They are knights. Okay. So now he's going to have to resolve at least 2. If he's got a Chain Whirler, I'm going to have to sacrifice my bodyguards to give these dudes the indestructible, else they die. I think this is clipping because the History of Benalia is like the enchantment location. Risk factor. At this point in the game, we actually, I'm going to decline this. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. I'm going to decline it. Because he can draw 3 cards. He's only got 1 mana. Well, what do I care if he's got 1 mana? Go for it. He can still tap his Spear Spewer to trigger Spectacle. So I don't mind if it was a choice between triggering Spectacle, I would have also declined that because I don't want to take the damage. I'm not really worried about my health total all that much because, yeah, go ahead. I don't think he taps Spear Spewer. Hi, kitty. Oh, I can't see. My cat is like standing in the way of the button, and I cannot see if it's my turn. She's fine. She's crying about it. Okay, so yeah, let's just swing in for the attack. We'll go with everybody. I think he's going to try and block a bigger creature with his Spear Spewer, or not block at all. Block and then tap it for the damage. Maybe, maybe not to save the 1. And then he takes 10. And then after combat, I'll play my Healer's Hawk, and that might force the concession right here. Just because it's scary. Lifelink is scary. It's hard to overcome for mono red. I think until we build a mono red, almost like red deck wins. Skargan Hellkite's coming back. Not coming back, but going to be in the deck. And that will give the deck a nice top end. I think it's waiting for that card to be a factor. So here's the thing. He's got 2 mana. I'm gonna go ahead and take this damage. I'm at 9. I don't care. He can't possibly do 9 with 2 mana. He could do 6 and I'll live, and I'm happy with that. Unless he's got a mountain, he doesn't. He lights up the stage. See, this is risky if he's got more mana, but I don't care. Like, he doesn't have. He could skewer me for 3. He could skewer somebody for 3. It doesn't matter. A lot of people have rules with risk factor. They'll always take it, always take it. Nah, let them draw. If they're out of mana, who cares? Yep. I was just thinking about this deck the other day. Mono white, specifically mono white, aggro tempo, creatures, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, I don't think mono white got anything out of this set. I don't think it's going to be very good. Lo and behold, I was looking at Unbreakable Formation, and I said, hey, wait a minute. There's something here. This is actually really strong. It's creatures get indestructible, but if you go with the addendum, all your creatures get a +1/+1 counter for 3 mana. That ain't bad. That ain't +1/+1 until the end of turn. That's a counter. That sticks around.